What up, guys? It's me, Liam again. Today I want to do another video. That, of course, being what if Jazz Lee survived in Transformers 2007? So let's begin, shall we? So the movie played out mostly the same up until where Megatron is about to tear Jazz up into parts. Apart. But Jazz would somehow shoot Megatron at the face, blinding him, and so Megatron would drop Jazz, and Jazz would just be heavily injured. Now, Megatron would fall off the building, would also be badly damaged. The fight between Optimus and Megatron would go mostly the same, but Optimus would get the upper hand due to Megatron's injuries, but once Optimus is about to plunge the Allspark into Megatron's chest, it would just damage Megatron rather than killing him. And then Starscream and Barricade would get Megatron out of the scene. Jazz would be fixed up by Ratchet, of course. And then we move on to Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. He would be first seen helping the RC sisters take it down Sideways, along with Sideswipe, and we would get fights in between Sideways, Sideswipe, and Jazz, which would go mostly as the lead scene did, and of course Sideways would still be killed off. We would then go mostly the same up until where the forest fight happens, with Jazz fighting off Grinder. Once Jazz fights Grinder, Grinder gets the upper hand and knocks out Jazz. Now, Jazz would be in his G1 color scheme at the time of this movie. Before Grinder could kill Jazz, Optimus would shoot Grinder through the chest, killing him, and then he would still have his fight with Starscream and Megatron. And then once Optimus Prime dies, Jazz would take Sam with him. Now, Bumblebee would take a group of Autobots with him. Those, of course, would be Jazz, Jolt, Skids, and Mudflap to find the Matrix. However, on the way, they would meet Jetfire, and of course, once Starscream comes and fights them. No. So the movie would go about mostly the same up until the fight in Egypt. Jazz and Joel would save the RC sisters from getting shot down and killed. Well, injured, for lack of a better term, due to the comics retconning that, but oh well. Joel would electrocute that MV Buffalo Decepticon, who could have ended up very well being Bone Crusher, and so this would give the Chromia and Ironhide the chance to kill that Decepticon. But then Starscream would come in, and of course he would fight Skids and Mudflap. And then Jazz and Joel would come, but sadly, or no, not sadly, but then Skids would die during all of this. He would get blown up by Starscream. And this would make Mudflap enraged, understandably, and would want revenge on Starscream. And Joel would then tell Mudflap that they'll get Starscream another time. And then the rest of the movie would go mostly the same, except Mudflap. The fight between Devastator would be Mudflap and Joel, and due to Joel having the power of electricity, he weakens Devastator a bit just to give the military enough time to kill Devastator. I'm on the TF wiki right now, but now to Transformers Dark of the Moon. He would, at the beginning of the movie when the Autobots are infiltrating the base, he would be there with Mudflap, Jolt, Wheeljack, or Q, Mirage, or Dino. I call them Mirage and Wheeljack. Bumblebee and Sideswipe, as well as RC and Chromia raiding the base. And of course, Leah 1. Now, Joel would be there because I just ignore the comics. I mean, I get the comics are supposed to be canon, but still. Now, Jazz would be later seen with Optimus, Ratchet, and Ironhide fighting off Shockwave, and then the movie would go mainly the same. Except he would get to Stealth Force mode during the fight with the Dreads. Now, Sentinel Prime would have a crew consisting of Blaster, Smokescreen, Blue Streak, and Perceptor. No brains because Wheelie probably would have. I don't know what to say. But yeah. We would have got his crew would have consisted of Blaster, Sunstreaker, Blue Streak, Smokescreen, as well as Cliff Jumper and Perceptor. Or maybe just those 5. Now, Jazz would tell Ironhide to look out, and Ironhide would, and rather than Sentinel Prime killing Ironhide, he would kill Cliff Jumper. Yes, Cliff Jumper always has to die, no matter the consequences. And then the movie would go mainly the same. But when we get to the Battle of Chicago, it would go down like this. Before Wheeljack meets his death, Ironhide would of course save Wheeljack from his death and would kill Soundwave. And then we would get the same fight scene, except when Bumblebee's fighting Decepticon, it would be Barricade. And of course, Barricade would meet his death at the hands of not only Bumblebee, but also RC. Now, Lead One would also be present, but would just play more of a minor role. Now, of course, there would be a little fight scene between Blaster and Soundwave before Ironhide kill Soundwave, of course. And the movie would go mainly the same. Now, when we get to the fight between Sam and Starscream, it would be Mudflap, Jolt, and Jazz fighting off Starscream. And it would be pretty intense. Jolt would almost die, but however, when Starscream's in jet mode, Mudflap would save Jolt, and of course, he would damage Starscream's engine, which causes him to crash and transform. And once he's weakened, Mudflap would say this is for skids and would shoot Starscream through the head, killing him instantly. And then the fight between Optimus and Sentinel would go on mainly the same, except Megatron would probably be there a lot earlier. I don't know how, but he probably would. And I could imagine Optimus probably accepting the truce, and the movie would have ended the same way Phoenix Studios' Transformers 3 rewrite did, with Sentinel killing Megatron, Optimus then killing Sentinel later on, and the Autobots being labeled as fugitives, and them saying goodbye to Sam and Carly. Or maybe Michaela said Dark of the Moon would have been really good in this timeline. I mean, Revenge of the Fallen. I mean, I get Michaela Megan Fox left because she called Michael Bay Hitler, but again. Now to Age of Extinction. When Optimus meets up with the Autobots again, he would meet Chromia, Not only would he meet Bumblebee, Crosshairs, Hound, and Drift, but he would also meet Jazz, Ironhide, Chromia, RC, Blaster. That's pretty much like all I could think of. Oh yeah, Mudflap too. Even Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. Or maybe just Sideswipe. Now, not only would we see the footage of Ratchet and Headfoot, we would also see more footage of other Autobots dying, like Topspin, Roadbuster, Jolt, even Mirage, all getting hunted down and killed by Cemetery Wind and Lockdown. It would get to a cameo from Hoist, even a cameo from Sunstreaker and Blue Streak. Now, Sideswipe would want to avenge Sunstreaker's death, as well as Mirage, Ironhide of which would agree, along with Chromia, and Mudflap would also want to avenge Jolt's death. Now, the movie would go on mainly the same, but there would be some But there would be a little fight between Sideswipe and Lockdown before Optimus is captured by Lockdown. And of course, we would get the same fight except it's a lot longer and more intense. Now, of course, Mudflap, Jazz, Sideswipe, and Ironhide would be there to help Optimus. Now, Elita 1 would also help because earlier in the movie, she would be captured by Lockdown and be taken as prisoner because Lockdown believes he would know where... she would know where Optimus is, and of course, he would do so. And yeah, the movie would go up mostly the same age of extinction. Now to the last night. Due to Barricade being dead in this timeline, I would imagine the beginning of all the stuff with Merlin and World War II, that kind of thing, things would be axed out completely. And Megatron, and the movie instead would begin with Galvatron scanning a jet mode just so we could break out all of the Decepticons captured by TRF. And one of them would actually be Thundercracker. And basically when they attack the Autobots, the only Decepticons I would imagine would die in this movie would be Mohawk, as well as Dreadbot. But Jeswin would also be present along with the other Autobots that survived. Now as for returning Autobots, Smokescreen would be one of them, I like to think. And Blue Streak's fate would be confirmed that he was also hunted down by Cemetery Wind. And of course, because the last night would have been at least But yeah, I would imagine the only Decepticons being killed off would be Dreadbot, Mohawk, as well as Berserk, thus Onslaught, Thundercracker, and oh yeah, Nitro Zeus would have lived. And of course, I would imagine another female Decepticon join in, like Flame War. And she would also live. And of course, we would get to train, because last night would have been a success in this timeline, we would have gotten the original version of Bumblebee, which was a prequel to the Bay films, and we've gotten Transformers Rise of Unicron, in which maybe another Transformer, in which the fate of... Now, I would imagine Wheeljack being killed off in Age of the Last Night, just so the Perceptor could be on his own, and... yeah. And I'd like to think that maybe Rise of the Beast could have been a Beast Wars movie in this timeline. And Jazz would make it out alive by the time of Rise of Unicron. So that's what would have happened if Jazz lived. Definitely he should have survived Transformers 1. He definitely should have. Looking back. Originally, I didn't have too much of a problem with him being killed off because it's the Transformers movies. They kill off all the Autobots. But looking back, he definitely should have made it out alive. And if they were going to kill an Autobot off in the first film, I'd probably have it be Cliffjumper. Since Cliffjumper always dies. But, do you want to make more what if this character survived in Transformers videos? I can definitely do that. Anyways, before I go, I thought about the idea of having a what if video on what if Mufasa survived in the Lion King. I thought about that since It still is heartbreaking. It still is. It's still hard. It still saddens me to this day. It's just heartbreaking to look at. It's just a heartbreaking thing to think about.